Hi, everyone. This is Livia Caudell, your host for the Conscious Wealth Builders Online Summit, Creating Prosperity with Your Higher Purpose. And I have a very, very special guest here with me today. This is Susie Q. Susie Q, how are you?
Never better, never better. Thank you for asking.
I know, I was just singing to you, my Susie Q, where are you?
I love it.
I love it too. So, you know what's so great about all this is I love how the universe works. I did an interview with Nancy Matthews from Women's Prosperity Network. And we were talking about the purpose of the summit and this movement, which is really people, planet, prosperity. That we can have it all. We can have the money, we can take care of people, and we can take care of the planet all at the same time, creating businesses that are thriving, making a difference. And she was just like, and I actually spoke about trash. I said, we've got so many global issues, one being the trash issue. We literally have islands of plastic. And when I found that out, it literally brought tears to my eyes because I can't even fathom it, to be honest. Like, I can't even wrap my brain around why we would put trash in the ocean. So you have an organization and a project you've launched called Trash Formation.
Global transformation.
Ah, that is like the coolest name. First of all, like, so genius because, I get it, right? It's like you're all about cleaning up the trash and you're all about transforming the world. It's like so cool. So tell us about your journey and your story.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, it's very exciting. This piece behind me,
Wow.
this is one of the earlier pieces that I created. It's not the first piece that I created with a lot of trash, but this particular piece is called Conscious Evolution. And it's like people are going to look at it because it's totally covered with thousands of pieces of trash.
It's so great.
And it actually reminds me of the gyres, of the 5 gyres that are in the ocean as we speak, getting larger and larger and larger. And it's this, for those people who don't really know what the gyres are, these are 5 currents, major current systems globally in the oceans and seas that all the trash eventually gets to these currented spaces, and the plastic just goes around and around and around and around once it reaches this area. Now, if you can envision, and when I first heard about it, I thought that they were islands that you could kind of walk on. Plastic does float, yes, and that is an issue. However, plastic breaks down in the sun. So if you can imagine, the average size of a piece of plastic is the size of my pinky nail, because plastic is brittle and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So if you can imagine the ocean 7 miles deep in some places, what's happening to these little microscopic pieces of plastic that are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And of course, the tragedy is that we're all responsible for it, and it's affecting sea life, as you can imagine, because they're eating it. And I think it's one of the stats I heard was like 35% of the fish that they're pulling out of the water has plastic in their stomachs.
Oh my gosh.
It's stats. I mean, I could go on. I have been investigating this and really figuring out, what's the story. There's the stats, and then there's the solutions.
Yeah. So
I'm more oriented. I don't kind of want to stay on the negative, but it is. And you were saying it's hard to wrap your mind around what these gyres are.
Yeah.
One of the other stats that I don't get visually what it means, but when I hear it, 12.7 million tons of plastic end up in our oceans annually. Annually, that's the current estimate. I can't even imagine what that looks like. Yeah.
Tons? Oh my God.
12.7 million tons. What is that?
Oh my
Where's
God.
that coming from? How does that happen?
Yeah.
Plastic.
How does that happen?
Plastic. Yeah.
How does it
So,
happen? I mean, so I do want to talk about the problem for a little bit, and then we can go into
yes.
the solution because I really feel like it's important for us to really get the impact, right? So when you were saying 7 miles deep, did you mean 7 miles deep of the plastic?
No. The
Okay.
ocean is 7 miles deep. However, as the plastic breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces, it drops. And so if you can imagine like consomme soup, that's your ocean, right? And you sprinkle a little bit of pepper in the consomme soup,
Yeah.
that is sort of the idea, and you stir it up
Okay. Gotcha.
in the it's everywhere. It's
Wow.
everywhere.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then as far as like the fish, I mean, we don't eat the fish of the stomach, but I mean, is there like an issue as far as like us eating these fish that are contaminated with these plastics?
Well, it can't be good for the fish and it can't be good for the health of the fish
Yeah.
because what happens ultimately with all that plastic being in there and it doesn't digest, it doesn't leave the stomach. So it just accumulates. And ultimately, what's going to happen to the fish is they're going to die. Turtles, birds. I mean, we're talking about sea life, we're talking about
Yeah.
marine life. You know, it's way, way more than just, what we're eating or not eating.
So how does the plastic get there? Like, I don't understand. I mean, I get it because I see plastic and just trash on beaches and, like that, but 12 million tons is a
Okay,
lot.
so as I understand it, and not that I'm the scientist, but if here's the way I imagine that it happens, is that when somebody drops something, let's just talk about littering. Let's say somebody drops a bottle. I don't want this bottle anymore. I'm letting it go. They drop a plastic bottle, and of course, they've already taken the cap off and dropped that. And they're way up in the mountains, right? Now, it rains, the wind, plastic is light. So that plastic is going to find its way into the water system. And of course, as we know, water seeks its lowest level. And so all of the rivers and streams, all of the estuaries, every bit of water that connects to the ocean, that whole highway system is taking all of that material down to the ocean. So that's one way that it can get in.
Yeah.
Other ways that it can get in is if you actually are boating or yachting, or whether it's a freighter or it's any object that is out on the sea and blatantly will dump their stuff. There's much higher regulations about cruise ships and so forth. So I think they are really much, much, much more conscious than they used to be. And I believe that there's like some kind of international, concept of consciousness for many of them. And I have gone on a number of cruises and I've actually asked specifically about that. And they say, we do not dump anything into the ocean. We recycle everything, the water, everything, and then when they get to shore, they dispose of it properly.
Yeah.
But the amount of plastic that we're still producing is really, I think, the issue. Because we have, just think of like the straws, for example. They used to be made out of paper. Yeah. Do you remember?
No. Not at all.
You don't remember paper straws? Wow.
No, I only know plastic. I didn't even know paper straws was a possibility.
A little younger than I am. So at one time, not too long ago, pre the movie The Graduate by with Dustin Hoffman in it, we had paper straws that we were given in restaurants and so forth, and you could buy paper straws in the store. Same thing with paper plates. Now you go in to see plates and they are plastic. Straws are plastic. Cups used to be paper cups were the only thing that you could buy. Thin paper cups. They would biodegrade. not a problem. Somebody decided, along the way that they could sell cheap, quote unquote cheap, on the front end anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic, like another use for plastic. It had to be this plastic manufacturing company,
Yeah.
right? Who decided that this would be a really good thing. Disposable, lightweight, cheap materials. Let's go for it.
Wow.
And so they can. I even found. Oh my gosh, this shocked me. I was on the beach the other day, and I go out to pick up. I live on the ocean. I go out to pick up trash in my little section of the beach in the morning, about sunrise, before the raker comes along and combs it all under. And I started finding parking tickets that were not made out of paper. They were made out of some kind of thin piece of plastic material.
Wow.
And I couldn't rip it. It had the date, it had, all the information on there, and fading, but still, you could tell that it was a parking, not a parking ticket. When you put your money into the little machine and it spits out a little thing, piece of what I thought was paper, but it's not. And that doesn't biodegrade.
Wow.
It was in perfect form on the beach.
Wow.
It blew, my guess is it blew onto the beach, because nobody's going to take these things to the beach. Why would they do that? So some of the plastic is ending up on the beaches in the ocean as a mistake, as unconscious or unintentional littering, which happens. You have something in your hand, it blows away. Mm-hmm. I've had it happen in my car. My windows rolled down, I got the music up, I'm grooving, I'm having a good time, and all of a sudden a paper or something flies out the window. I'm going, oh no, this is terrible.
Wow.
But it happens.
No, I get it. And so I know you're an editor for Natural Awakenings magazine.
Yeah.
That, which is so cool, because it's one of my favorite magazines, and yeah, that's so awesome. That's so cool. Good for you. That's really great. So you're definitely someone who is in the industry of the knowing of what's happening on the planet inside of consciousness and spirituality and, world issues and how we can solve them through conscious entrepreneurship. Like this is your life's work. Like you are a conscious entrepreneur. So can you share with the viewers, because I really created this summit to really help people, because for a long time, just a little to go back my story, for a long time I used to listen to all these amazing inspiring spiritual speakers and authors and conscious entrepreneurs, and I would always feel inspired, but then I would leave feeling like, man, I wish I had what they had. Like I wish, like what's my purpose, and like how do I figure out my purpose, And so I grappled with that for a long time, and over the years I've had glimpses and these kinds of things, and I do feel like I am living on purpose and living my mission now. But it took me a long time. I had a lot of self-limiting belief systems to get out of the way. So can you share a little bit about your journey, how you discovered your purpose, your higher purpose? Do you feel like you're living that? And what do you recommend for the viewers, for them to discover theirs?
Wow. It's a great, great question.
Yes.
And so for me, I had not a clue about what my purpose was. I was allowing life to just kind of be, and I was following shiny stars, and I was doing what I wanted to do in some respects, not all. But I couldn't really figure it out. So when I turned 50, I did a major life change, and consciousness change. And I decided that I needed to take 100% full responsibility for my life. I had not done it up to that point. And that was like a huge, huge shift in what I say is I did a 360. I imagine myself as kind of being the Wonder Woman who gets into this little twirl.
Yeah.
And she's facing camera, She does as just a person, and then she does these twirls and ends up transformed, but still facing the camera. So it's like a series of 360s. So I feel like I did a series of 360s. I was still facing the same direction. It's not like a 180. You know, it's like I'm not going the total opposite way.
I got it. Yes.
So I did this 360, and I ended up realizing that I kind of felt like I was on the right track, but I just didn't get it. I didn't get the purpose thing. But what I did know is that I could tell when other people were passionate and on target, because their face would light up and they would just get so excited and so into whatever it was that they were talking about. It was like, oh yeah, that person gets it. I want, like you said, you know, I want some of that. I love it.
Yeah.
So I could see it in other people, and I recognized that it just wasn't happening for me. It's like, I don't get that, you know, I don't get that. So my process was, number one, just to observe that in other people, and consciously, whenever I was talking with anybody, I was looking for that spark. I was looking for that acknowledgement that they were on target and on purpose with their mission and their life purpose.
Yeah.
When it got to a point where other people then would say something to me like, geez, you know, Susan, or Susan at that time, because I recently just kind of made this Susie Q shift with the name.
I love it. I love it.
It's like my life wasn't so, you know, it wasn't so serious anymore.
Yes.
And so they would say, wow, Susan, your face just really lit up when you were talking about your artwork. And that was like, oh. So I noted that. That was my first glimpse from the outside, that my artwork was my passion. That's step one. And then it was beyond that. So it's a self-observation, that process. But I still didn't quite get the purpose. I got the excitement and the passion, but I did not understand the purpose. And that took years to understand it. Once I got the passion, then to get the purpose. So one follows the other in just amazing style. And so it was actually in multiple parts. The first thing that happened was I was doing Expo of Heart down at the Broward County Convention Center. It was all about wellness. A couple thousand people would show up for the day, 125 vendors, and it was a really great business. And in that process, I ended up getting a video from my assistant, a video, an announcement about Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth film. And this was in 2007, I believe. Okay. And I'm looking at this trailer, and I'm looking at the artwork that I had just painted, which was on the wall behind my computer screen. And I'm looking at the two back and forth, and it was like, oh, that's the same image. That could be another version of the trailer, because and I don't know if you're familiar with that trailer, and what it was an image of 3 smokestacks. The top of the smokestacks, instead of the smoke billowing out, it was a hurricane. And so that's sort of what I was painting, was that the smokestacky kind of things, although they were more looking like umbilical cords. Yeah. And then the top was just this energy of all these little mini circles kind of rotating. So it was this similarity that was so close. And I actually even took pictures of it and sent them all to Al Gore's office. I was just so thrilled. Back from them. Thanks for the pictures. But, and I actually even invited Al Gore to come and speak at our event because I was so taken by his message, climate change. And that was around the time that he was getting his Nobel Prize, and the office responded, I'm sorry, he's not available right now.
He's off getting Nobel Prizes. Did he actually win a Nobel Prize?
Yes.
Did he? So I'm a little behind. That's really cool. Wow.
Yeah. So that was like, okay, my artwork is, so that was like finally connecting a passion to a purpose. And the purpose was environmental stuff. So that was my, I sold the expo business because I recognized that I needed to focus more time and effort on my artwork. So that was shift one.
Wow.
That was shift. And that was, so now I've got some inkling of where it is that I'm going with this environmental information and project and so forth. And that was cool. That was good. But I didn't really have it nailed.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I really had it nailed. And so the next thing that happened years later, actually 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5 years later, right? I decided I was going to take this class from an artist friend whose work I totally admired. And his work was much like Renaissance stuff, very brown. And I noticed that all of my work had no brown in it. Kind of similar to this, but there's really not a whole lot of brown plastic.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of blues and greens and so forth. And I felt like I had to get over this thing about brown, that I really wanted to incorporate it into my artwork, and I didn't know what was like, what was the block? You're talking about blocks holding you back, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what is it about brown that I just can't.
You're resisting, yeah.
I totally resisted it. And so I decided to take some classes with this guy because he was all very muted colors. Anyway, did one of my landscapes, my environmental landscapes. And when I was done with it, he said, wow, that's great. It's wonderful. All right, now, here's the deal. This is what I want you to do. I want you to come up with something that is social commentary. And it's like, well, what? It's like, uh-oh, because I'd never been asked to do that. That was like something totally new, social commentary. And I'm thinking, oh boy, I was stuck. Fortunately, about a month before he asked me to think about this, I was riding my bike home from the post office, and I looked down in the street, and there was a can that had been run over by like 1,000 cars. And it was rusted brown and so flat. And it intrigued me. And there was something about this can that just like, wow, that is so cool. I didn't know why. I didn't ask. I just picked it up. And it was actually so worn that the can was almost breaking apart because, when you make cans, it's not like a one sheet that's all the same thickness.
Yes.
It's actually thick, thin. And so where it was really super thin, it was breaking apart. Now I was like, what am I doing? I live in a small apartment. At least it was a little small object. Another thing that was my favorite thing to paint were circles and dots. My work, up to that time or in the last number of years, thousands and thousands and thousands of dots. So I'm now looking down and I'm seeing a rusty flattened bottle cap, and I bend down to pick it up. So now I had a can, I had a bottle cap, started picking up all these brown objects in the streets and sidewalks.
Wow.
And I was like, I became this kind of maniac. I would walk around my neighborhood and de-litter. I ended up de-littering the neighborhood.
That's so awesome. What a conscious thing to do. Because
So
there's
once
just
I
so much
cleaned
of
up,
it.
so that was kind of cool. So what happened was that I ended up putting together my love of nature with my newfound love of brown. And I'll show you the picture that the painting, a photograph of the painting that I ended up doing.
Yeah.
Hold on. See if I can find it
I just
here.
love that painting in the background. That is so gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Well, it's like you combine painting and the trash, right? Because it's kind of hard to see it, but
Yeah.
it looks like it's 3D. It's popping
So
out.
yeah, I came up with a piece called Bottle Capius Literis. And
Ah,
big tree.
uh-huh.
You see it?
Yes.
Big tree. And in place of the leaves, I've got bottle caps.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Can you see
cool.
it?
Yeah, but is that a photograph of it?
It's a actually a print of it.
Okay. Yeah.
And I make these available to anybody that signs up on my, my website. They can download this for free. Bottle
Beautiful.
Capius Literis. And I did like a little sign that says, "Thank you, every little bit helps, Susie Q."
Oh, that's so
So
awesome. So you're just like fully self-expressed. You got this awesome name, Susie Q. You're like this groovy lady with this awesome art who's environmentally friendly, like really causing people to really consider this environmental stuff, right? And how we're treating the planet. That is so cool. And I really
it
liked
is.
what you said, your passion leads to your purpose. So it was like you got ignited. There was something within you that was like really passionate, so you got this passion about you. And then it was like, boom, you just got it one day.
It was remarkable. Actually, I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know how significant Bottle Capius Literis would become.
Yeah.
I was showing it to my nail technician, and she fell in love with it, and she said, "I'm buying that."
No way. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So
That's so cool. So is this your business right
it's
now?
the conscious salon. So she ended up putting it up on her wall. They do gel nails and Reiki, and there's a section where they do yoga. I mean, it's very,
Oh
very cool.
my gosh, that's so awesome. I love places like that. That's so fantastic. So is that what you're doing full time right now? Is your art, your environmental art?
No, I'm doing my magazine. Now I have a team. I have a team of people that work with me for the magazine, so that's great. The global transformation, that movement is something that I've been working on for the last year.
Very
And
cool.
so I'm in the process of getting team in place for that. I've started, with talking to marketing people and, people that can help me get the word out. I've also worked with a number of nonprofits and
Yeah.
developing relationships and have done projects that now that I'm known as this person who does collaborative artwork, which is
Yes.
what, let's see. Oh, let me show you this. This is cool. At the WPN conference, this was the piece that we did at
Wow.
the unconference, and about 100 people added to this piece. So
Amazing.
this is the logo for the global transformation, but
Wow.
you can see all these pieces that were added, and it's not just trash. It's some of it's moop, which
Wow.
is material out of place. Have you heard about that?
No, that's so great.
So, MOOP is a term that was developed or utilized by Burning Man Group, if for anybody who's heard of that.
Yep.
But it's material out of place. So,
Okay.
so I go to these. I do talks and go to these events, and everybody gets to add litter, trash, MOOP to a piece,
That's so
and
cool.
they get transformed, and everybody gets. If they want, they can get stickers and, make a little donation, make a little gift, and they get a sticker that says, "I took the pledge, global transformation." It's great fun.
That is so fun. I love that. That's so
I vote,
fantastic.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, no, that's beautiful. That's awesome. So, what would you say for the viewers, like a pathway for them to discover their purpose? You said observing other people that are lit up and excited and on fire in life. And anything else you would suggest?
Well, so it's number one, just to see it in other people so that then you can see it in yourself when the light turns on.
Yeah.
And it's really this process of observation and also getting, when people give you feedback, listen to it. It's like, wow, you really get excited. You're really enthused about that, or wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because you just can't help but smile and be happy. And I can tell that, you're totally on purpose with the way that you're being, your smile, you totally get it, you're comfortable. It's so you. You're doing what you are meant to do, and you recognize it, so you get the feedback.
Yeah. No, you're so right. I had a girlfriend, it was like one day she just popped and she called me and she was like, oh my God, Olivia, oh my God, I figured out my purpose and da da da. And it was just like, yes, overwhelming joy and aliveness and self-expression, and it's like you can't contain yourself. And sometimes when I'm on the phone with people, I'm like, I know I'm like really loud, talking very fast. I'm just like so lit up, so lit up with life and what it is that I'm up to. So you're so right about that. Yeah, that's a good inclination is what people are saying back to you.
And I will say that it's nothing that you can go after. It just is something that happens from the inside out. And like what I like to say with my pledge, I have, people kind of take a pledge if they want to get into this global transformation thing. And the last part of it is that to recognize that really we're all about working from the inside out and the ground up.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's just wherever you are, that's the ground upon which you walk, and that is the place where you stand, and that's where you come from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take care of this space, this space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honor.
And I don't know about you, but I notice too, when people are really in their higher purpose, they, or at least what I consider higher purpose, you naturally want to take care of people. You naturally want to take care of the planet. It's like you start really considering the planet. It's like, oh, I'm not separate of this thing because your consciousness is raised.
Right, exactly. So this movement is not about me at all.
Yeah.
This movement, in my mind, is really about getting other people involved. It's like, I don't want to do it by myself. I can't do it by myself. It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about inspiring other people. The future generations, the kids. I love working with kids. I'm going to be working with kids this coming Saturday at an event, where we've got these canvases. Everybody's going to, glue litter to, I was thinking rhymes with glitter, cute too. Adding litter to these projects, and it helps to raise their awareness and about, oh my gosh, this came out of the or off the beach, or oh, I've seen those before, so it just gets everybody thinking, and of course to inspire other people. And so one of the missions of global transformation, or the vision that I see it, is to really work with other artists and help support other artists, both visual and performing, and to support them with what they are doing, and really to help kind of bring this energy of consciousness with the artist on all different types: writing, songwriting, plays, films, dance, visual arts, what have you, and giving that a really cool voice. Important. It's so important what we all are doing, and everybody has a way, and you're doing it also with your conscious, business connections, and focusing on the consciousness of that and the business of that, so it's very, very cool. So you're the creative as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, my whole thing is I'm so for companies that take people and the planet into consideration before, profit maximization. Like really taking into consideration, even if I have to spend a little bit more to be more conscious of how I'm, impacting people and the planet. Like that to me that's integrity.
Yes.
And being a whole conscious person who's really elevated and you're living your higher purpose, you'll naturally consider those things. And yet, we look in the world and there's still a lot of, organizations and companies that are not doing that. So there's still like this lower consciousness inside of business. So yeah, it's really about just, sharing these things with the world, getting them present to the impact. And I think that's really what it is. It's because we don't really take action and make change until we really get clear on like how it's impacting our lives and other people's around us.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's a lot of observation. I think the idea is to have more and more companies and celebrate those companies that are taking the steps, one step at a time in the direction. So for me, I'm happy to support those steps. For example, like with the magazine or with anybody who's going to pick up a piece of litter. It's like, hey, great, fabulous. That's wonderful. The fact that they picked up their first piece of litter or a piece of litter, it's that process, and it will grow. What's really cool is just to see the ripple effect happening too. People will come up to me. I got an email the other day from someone who said, okay, I have taken so much plastic out of my house and I'm now getting glass,
Awesome.
Glass containers and so forth because I recognize that and she said, I feel different. I feel different. There's a different consciousness about the use of plastic and what am I going to buy and what am I going to support.
Yeah.
So it's this constant thing. But it's so cool for me to be able to share the art as a conversation, as a way to be in conversation about this issue that is so huge and so like I can't wrap around it, like what you said. I can't visualize this in the ocean. It's like it's crazy. It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't belong
like
there.
So it's nuts.
Talk about the moop.
We'll get it.
I said talk about the moop. Materials out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
It is so cool. I love that. Yeah, that's good.
Nice name.
It is. No, it's really good because it's kind of like goop. It's like, yeah, that's trash. That's not supposed to be there. Like, trash is not supposed to be in the ocean. Definitely.
And it's a great way to describe anything that is not where it should be.
Yes, and that's what
it's home or whether it's where we're vacationing. We can always tell if something's out of place. Yeah. I think we intuitively know that that's not really supposed to be there.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you feel it. I mean, you can kind of feel like the vibrational. But again, that takes a certain level of consciousness and awareness, like you were saying.
It does.
Because like a couple of my sisters, their rooms are completely disorganized. And I have to, but for me, it's like organization and everything having its conscious place it's important, So anyways, not in the world of, comparing, but it's definitely.
That piece that's called, and that actually has London on it.
Oh, wow.
There's London and there is Florida right there. And that's called Our Plastic Oceans. And what I did with that was I only covered the globe where there's water.
Amazing.
So 3/4 of that globe is covered with little pieces of plastic that I found on the beach.
Wow, that's so neat. What a cool art piece.
Yeah. So, and then on the bottom, I don't know if you can see it, on the bottom I have all of it painted brown. And that sort of symbolizes the oil that we make the plastic from. Where does this come from?
Wow.
So this plastic is an oil product. So.
Wow, that is so neat. I love what you're up to and what you're doing. And as far as the Trashformation project, so are you doing that as a nonprofit organization or are you doing that as a for-profit?
Currently, I've been working with a couple of nonprofits, been doing some, grants with the nonprofits to where they bring me in as a line item or as a partner to work with them on a specific project.
Yeah.
So I've done that. I haven't created, but I do work for profit as well. I've always, with my artwork, way back when, well, before '07 or around '07, I knew that if I was going to sell this expo business and get back into art, because I felt that it was divinely, I mean, it's my gift. It's my gift. And so I had to make sure that at least 10% of any proceeds from the sale of any artwork is got to go to a nonprofit. And that was just like right off the top. Don't wait to the end of the year, so I automatically do that.
That's great.
And, that's like very cool, it's just a way for me to, honor. And I was considering doing a nonprofit, haven't made one yet, or found like Global Transformation Foundation or something along that line.
Yeah.
So it's tickering around.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, I spent a lot of time in Bangladesh, and I'm a big fan of Muhammad Yunus. He won the Nobel Peace Prize for the microloan, and so he teaches about social business and creating a for-profit company with a social give-back program. So, like Tom's Shoes is a socially conscious business. Every time someone buys a pair, so that would be cool for you to sell your art, and every time, I mean, you're already doing that. You give 10% away, so that's great. I mean, that's beautiful. I love that.
Or more, just depends on, if I go to some event and, it would be higher because it's directly related to that event. So
that's great.
It's all good stuff.
That's
all good
awesome.
Stuff.
Well, you're so inspiring.
Thank you.
What was that last piece you just said?
I feel so blessed, to be in this position of being able to give back, do what I love to do, and make a difference, and help to save the planet. It's litter is everywhere, but it's doesn't have to be. Yeah,
that's so great. That's so awesome, and I love what you just said. You feel blessed, so there's like this immense gratitude, that I'm getting that you have around that, and that's so beautiful because that's what gets us connected to our heart and gets us in alignment is through that attitude of gratitude. So that's cool.
Yeah, I know that I'm doing the right thing, and I really know that I am changing people's lives, by raising awareness of this issue and allowing an opportunity for anybody to make minute changes in the way that they, play here on Earth. And to engage in little acts of, instead of little acts of kindness, it's little acts of delittering,
I love it.
or not littering. Somebody might just say, hey, I can't do that anymore. I can't litter there was a time that, oh my gosh, I used to smoke and a little bit of me was unconscious and I would flick the cigarette butts. At some point, one day, I just woke up enough to say, I cannot do this anymore. And that was in the 70s, and that was a flashback on my dad, because my dad was much of an environmental kind of guy.
Yeah.
Love him to death. And so he always had his go in the woods and get to know the names of everything, the birds and the trees and the snakes. We had to know the names of all the animals and plants that were in our local area. That we needed to be able to identify all these things. And of course, field trips were part of that whole process. Yeah. So when I finally made the connection that I could not, dispose of anything onto our sacred space and our sacred ground, that I spent years after that picking up lots and lots and lots of cigarette butts to try and up for the 2 years that I was smoking. And I still pick them up today. There was decades where I wasn't doing anything, but now it's pretty much a daily activity.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool!
bird glove.
Ah! I just love who you are. You're so amazing. Just this beautiful energy, just glow. You're gorgeous. You're just making a difference. Art. So thank you for who you are.
Thank you for who you are.
I appreciate that.
This has been so much fun.
Yes, isn't it?
I look forward to you coming to Fort Lauderdale.
Well, yes, no, we will definitely link up. I spend a lot of time. In fact, I'll be there not this week, but the following week. So I will definitely be calling you. Yeah.
For sure.
Wonderful.
For sure.
And then the free gift for the viewers. What's your free gift going to be?
So my free gift is to have a print of Bottle Capias Literis.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And so I've got this available. You just go to globaltransformation.com, and there is a place on the website to sign up for your free gift. You know, put in your email, and then you can download a print of Bottle Capias Literis.
Oh my gosh, that's
a pleasure to share it with anybody, everybody. You know.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. So viewers, I highly suggest that you download this right now, put it up somewhere, you know, in your mirror, in your bathroom, or on your refrigerator to remind you that this is our sacred planet and we do not want to be littering. We want to be taking care of our earth. So thank you so much again for your stand, for who you are, and thank you for being here. And everybody, get your picture.
Thank you, Livia.
Yes, thank you. Viewers, stay tuned to some amazing experts. Thanks for tuning in to the online summit, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.